Hey guys, how you doing? Back at you again with another movie review, and this time I'm going to be talking about the latest from Pixar, which is Elio, directed by Madeline Serafian, Domi Shi, and Adrian Molina, and this follows Elio, a very precocious young boy who doesn't feel like he quite fits in on Earth, so he wants to be abducted by aliens until he eventually does. And I'm going to keep it as brief as that, because I do have a lot to say about this movie. First off, I think you know, if you've been following me for a while, I've been pretty critical on Pixar in recent years. I ended up loving Inside Out 2 when I saw it again, but other than that, I think, Turning Red was very good, which, features, one of the same directors here, Domi Shi. But I don't think they've really been knocking it out of the park, slam dunk in a long time, probably since Soul. And that was like almost 5 years ago, which is hard to fathom. It was that long ago. So yeah, I haven't really been disliking Pixar very much, but, well, I wasn't a huge fan of Elemental, but that's the thing. They haven't been on that level of greatness, which, really catapulted Pixar to being one of the most premier and prestigious animated studios in history. And so when it came to Elio, I heard the reviews, they were like fairly positive, but I'm like, okay, like everyone's saying it's not one of Pixar's best. Okay, whatever. And when I got out of the theater, I was like, I don't know what anyone is talking about, because this is, I think, one of the best Pixar movies that we've gotten in a long time. I think easily the best since Soul. And I really think that this is one of the most inspired efforts, one of the most heartfelt that we've gotten in quite some time, which isn't to say the emotion of the film hit me harder than the ending of Inside Out 2, but I just think all the way through, it feels like an original idea, even though it does, follow a predictable pattern, I guess you could say. I feel like there isn't hardly a moment that doesn't ring true. And I really think that this movie gives its characters, those moments to breathe and really let you sit with the emotional impact in the weight of what they're going through. And yet again, it's not like it's something we've never seen before, but it's just done so well. I absolutely loved what they did with the story here, and it just moves like that. Everything is just so elaborate. It just flows just so easily, one beat into the next. The way they link everything together, I don't think that there is a single note out of place in that regard. And I absolutely love the character of Elio here. He does start off as like, this annoying kid who obviously is, very troublesome to say the least. But what I love about it, like some of the best Pixar and Disney films, like Lilo and Stitch, which I really think this is heavily influenced by, you really understand why he is acting out the way he is, and you ultimately get to realize just how, resourceful, how, empathetic, how brilliant this kid is. And I really, really love how they showed that just through his actions. And I think Jonas Kibriev really brings Elio to life with such a great exuberance and empathy. I think that this is one of the best Pixar protagonists we've gotten in some time. I really, really love this character. And then Zoe Saldana as his aunt, coming off of her Oscar win for a significantly worse movie. I really think that the relationship that she has with Elio in this film is really the heart of the story, and really just so effective. Just the moments that they have between one another, trying to, understand what makes each one tick, the frustrations that she has, trying to, keep a lid on him, and also trying to balance her own career that essentially she sort of forgoes a bit, trying to, raise this kid. I really, really think that the best moments in the movie, for the most part, come from her and, the interactions between the two of them. And then you have Remy Edgerly as Gorgon, which is such a delightful character that Elio meets along his journey into space. And they do some really cool things with his character. Also a really great Easter egg to another movie, if you catch it. It's kind of hard to miss. But I really do love the relationship that the two of them build, and his purpose in the story, and his relationship with his father, Qui-Gon, who's played by Brad Garrett, of course, Pixar alum. Always great when you hear his voice in an animated movie. You always know Brad Garrett's going to deliver, no matter what. And I think, you know, especially the dynamic between him and his father proves for some other great emotional highlights of the film as well. And I really just love how this movie tackles, you know, finding your sense of place in the world, finding those who really care and understand you. I think it's something that we all can relate to, especially people who do feel like they don't belong in this so-called world. It's really, really a beautifully touching story with great humor. I mean, this is an extremely funny movie overall, even though there are a couple of jokes that are really bad. Like, you know, you notice that I was cringing, but throughout the entire film, I mean, the sense of humor here is so playful, so delightful, in the best ways that all the best Pixar movies are. And even though I suppose there's a couple things that hamper it from being quite to the same level as something like Monsters, Inc., I'd actually rank it under Monsters, Inc. when it comes to my all-time favorite Pixar movies, which should really tell you how much I love Elio. Because this really captures the charm, the heart, the warmth that is present in classic Pixar, and very, very reminiscent of that. And I really do think that this is going to be a Pixar classic. I really don't understand, you know, the people saying that this is middling when it comes to, you know, Pixar. This is way better than Elemental. This is, like I said, better than anything that they've done in about half a decade. And it's really a colossal disappointment that this movie is bombing at the box office, because what do you want, people? I mean, you want to go see How to Train Your Dragon for the second time in 15 years? I mean, this is the kind of movie that should be supported. And of course, do I need to even say that the animation is absolutely stunning? I mean, it's Pixar, it's very, very photoreal, a little glossy, plasticky in some cases, but I think it works for this story. And I just think that movies like this, that, you know, tell an original, heartfelt story where you can tell that there was a lot of effort and heart and care put into this movie, even if it was changed hands multiple times, it's so seamless that it's extremely hard to tell. And I definitely teared up at one of the moments in this movie, which I think is like a top 20 Pixar moment. It really just hit me on a very human level. This is a very human movie, even though it is about all these, you know, space aliens. I think that's what Pixar really does best. And I think that this is by far the best animated movie of the year that we've seen so far. I really can't say enough good things about this. This was such a delightful surprise in so many ways, and I'm glad to see that Pixar is back on track. And please, I implore you, don't wait for this one on Disney+. Please go see this in theaters, because we need original movies, even if it is, you know, this big corporate name that we all, you know, shill our money over to many times. I really do think that this is a story that needs to be supported, needs to be seen, and you will have a great time watching it, whether you take your kids, whether you just take a couple of friends like I did. I really do think that this is going to tug on a lot of heartstrings in the way that all the best Pixar movies do. And on that note, I'm going to give Elio a 9 out of 10. This comes with the highest recommendations from me. I think this is one of the best movies of the year. I do hope it gets nominated for Best Animated Feature by the end of the year at the Oscars. And honestly, depending on the competition this year, it might even win. Who's to say right now at this very moment, but I really do think that this ranks amongst some of, you know, maybe not top 10 Pixar, because that's kind of hard to crack. But like I said, Monsters, Inc., I would consider that one of their best, even if it isn't in my top 10. There's no denying just how great that film is, and many others. And I do think that this will join the canon of those Pixar films. So yeah, guys, let me know what you thought about Elio down in the comments below. Did you love it as much as I did? Were you a bit lukewarm on it? And really, tell me why, because I really don't understand the kind of middling reception that this movie has gotten in parts. But please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more movie reviews like this. Of course, I'm going to be bringing you all my review of 28 Years Later very, very soon, so stay on the lookout for that and so much more, and I will talk to you in the next one.